Hello everybody and welcome, I am Bricker Boom, and today we're bringing another Johto Pokemon starter into Kanto, and if y'all remember the last time I did this with Chikorita, it did not go well. I won't spoil it, but you should probably check that video out. I gave Discord the option to choose between this and Totodile, and this one, as much as I hate to say it because I love Totodile, won by a good chunk of change, so we're going to see if Cyndaquil can do any better than our grass counterpart. Cyndaquil is the Johto Fire starter, and from the stats, well, it's about what you'd expect for a first form Pokemon. It's got a decent speed and special attack, while the other stats aren't the best. The level up moveset is okay enough, giving us some decent fire moves, and thankfully, we can learn some things like Aerial Ace and Dig to be able to give us some coverage. We're going to go ahead and give the rival Squirtle, since that'll be the hardest for us to face. Now, the problem is, Cyndaquil is going to struggle hardcore for the beginning of the game, and I'm sure that's probably why this one won the poll, if we're being honest. For now, though, let's go ahead and get this started. We have Blaze as our ability, and then for our nature, we have a relaxed nature, boosting defense and lowering speed. For the first rival battle, the only thing that we can do is just keep tackling until we can't no more. We're doing about the same amount of damage to each other, and it does appear to be a speed tie. Thankfully, despite a crit, we do actually win this exchange and are able to go ahead and start moving on. With that done, we'll be able to go ahead and make our way through the beginning of the game, doing Professor Oak's little quest, the guy laying in the middle of the road because he doesn't have coffee. Now, thankfully, Cyndaquil learns Ember at a pretty early level, so what we'll go ahead and do is go through the forest, leveling up both on trainers and some wild Pokemon, before doubling back to do that optional rival fight. The rival is going to start with Pidgey, and we use Tackle, and then get Sand attacked. Awesome. We take it to about half, then take it down to Red, and then take it down, thankfully, without a miss. We level up, learning Ember, and then it's out to Squirtle. We miss, but so does Squirtle, and then we're able to do a little bit of damage. From there, it's basically just a slugfest, tackling back and forth, and we do get taken all the way down to 6 HP, but we can very narrowly find ourselves actually winning this battle, and that allows us to move on. Now, on the way to Brock, I want to go ahead and show you a couple quick images. I needed some recording examples, so I'm going to block out the screen to avoid spoilers and whatnot, so here a picture of my cats that will block out the parts that I don't want y'all seeing for right now, while keeping some of the game footage. For the Arceus lock that I'm going to start, which of the borders do you think works best? 1 or 2? There's also this secret third option that a friend of mine made. There are 9 games that we're going to be nuzlocking, so plenty of attempts will be made to actually find the perfect border. Mind you, I'm just trying to see what is going to look best. For now, though, let's go ahead. We'll see how things go against Brock. Just make sure to drop it in the comments, or if you want to even join the Discord and drop it in there, which option you think is best. Just let me know. Geodude is up first, so we open with Ember. Not doing a lot of damage, but it's still more than I think that we would end up doing with Tackle. It tackles us, then begins setting up Defense Curl, which is fine, because we're using our special. So we're actually able to take it down 2 turns later. Onyx is next, so we get hit with Bind, and then fire off a smoke screen to help us survive. Then, we swap over to Ember, doing a little damage as Bind continues. From there, it isn't a lot to cover recap-wise. This is just such a slow battle, and with the smoke screen, we're able to make it miss, and at the end, we do burn it, and then the residual burn damage is enough to take it down and win the battle. Now that we're on the way to Cerulean, it's at this time I'd like to remind you to like the video, and also subscribe to the channel. We're working on watch hours as always, and starting to get the very beginnings of our Arceus lock set up. The kiddo goes back to school 1 week from today, or in this case now 6 days, and I'm also going to go ahead and start working on my gym leader video idea. I definitely need a script, but between these 2 video ideas, I think I'll be plenty busy. If I had to guess, I'm gonna assume that doing the Arceus lock, because it's 9 games, I'm not gonna finish them all very quickly, because I'd like to stream a majority of the game footage. This is probably gonna be about a 6-month project. I do have a week off toward the end of October, so I think I'll be able to get some stuff done during that time period as well. Oh, by the way, we also take the Dome Fossil, because that's the only one that actually matters. From there, it's time for us to see who we want to face first, and I'll be honest, it's not going to be Misty. I have a feeling that one may be a roadblock for a good while. If you can't tell, for the most part, I tend to write the script as I go along, so even I'm not completely sure how this is going to end yet. I do, obviously, now that I'm recording, but let's go ahead and face the rival. Pidgeotto is up first, and we use Ember, doing decent damage and getting a burn, so Gust doesn't do much to us. Then, between the burn damage and our next attack, we can go ahead and take it down. Next up is Squirtle, and we go ahead and use Smokescreen before swapping to Ember, doing solid damage with a crit. The next Ember takes it to almost half as it sets up Withdrawal. Unfortunately, it does choose to attack the very next turn, and the next two attacks connect, and we get taken down with a few water guns. The next attempt, and we hit the Pidgeotto and get hit with Sand Attack, but we can take it down. After that, Squirtle, we just focus on smoke screening as much as we can, and it actually just focuses on withdrawals a lot, so we can go ahead and then swap over to Ember until we finally take it down. Not having the 1,000 misses is probably why this actually worked. As Abra comes down, we can take it down with a few quick attacks since it can't do anything, and then Rattata's last, and we take it down with a critical hit Ember to win the battle. So with that out of the way, we'll go ahead, take down some trainers on the route to the north, and then we'll also take on the trainers at Misty's gym. If that doesn't work, we'll be able to go ahead, head to the ship, worst case scenario. So with that, we'll go ahead, challenge Misty, and see how things go. Staryu is first, and we could just do some quick attacks, but honestly, Water Pulse is doing solid damage, and we just smack ourselves, so we just end up going down. We do try this a handful of times, but ultimately, it's not going well, even after we choose to level up on a lot of trainers and wild Pokemon. So without much of a choice, we just kind of have to level up some more. All the way at level 35, we can take Staryu to red as it uses Harden, and then Misty heals up. We swap over to Flame Wheel from the Harden, and then we can take it to yellow, and then we can take it down. After that, it's out to Starmie, and we get hit hard with Water Pulse. The next turn, we use Quick Attack, and we actually get a critical hit, taking it down to win the second badge. Now that we're on the ship, we can basically make a beeline for the rival. We have the items we need, so no sense in delaying the inevitable. Also, this is really random, but do you guys like football? I have a lot of coworkers that are super into football, and I just kind of smile and nod. I have no idea what they're talking about. Now, if they would be talking to me about, literally any other topic, I would stand a chance. Anyway, let's go ahead and fight the rival. Pidgeotto's up first, so we use Flame Wheel, taking it down in one shot. Then Wartortle's next, and that one is scary, so we'll use Swift to test damage, taking it to around half as the rival uses Withdrawal. We Swift again, taking it to red, and then we can take it down. Next out is Eradicate, and we swap over to Flame Wheel, taking it down. And then you have Kadabra, and we swap over to Swift, knocking it out and winning a pretty simple battle. With the rival fight done, we'll show the captain a little love Dr. Boom style. And then we can go ahead and go to Surge's gym. The trash can puzzle is actually pretty kind to us this time around. And then we can go ahead and fight Surge. Honestly, given our level, I don't think that we'll have too many concerns until we get to Koga. From there, I have a good feeling that the game is going to go downhill pretty quickly, especially with things like the rival at Silphco, Giovanni, and the fact that he will possess Earthquake at the last gym. There's a lot of bad things that are going to happen, but we're getting very much ahead of ourselves. Let's go ahead and cover that fight first. Surge sends out Voltorb, and we open with Flame Wheel, and we can take it down in one turn. Then, after that, it's out to Pikachu, and we Flame Wheel it, and actually avoid the static, taking it down with one shot as well. Raichu comes out, we continue with Flame Wheel, but this time we do get the static off it, making its Thunder Wave kind of useless. The Shockwave does solid damage, but then we take it down to win us a pretty simple battle. Now that the third gym is thankfully out of the way, we have some travel ahead of us. The way through the cave I thought would be pretty difficult given our typing, and the fact that there are plenty of rock types and slowpoke people, but it actually doesn't take us too long. With that, I would like to say that we'd be able to get plenty of upgrades, but unfortunately, we're about tapped out on the options that are available to us. We get Flamethrower with level up, and honestly, Flame Wheel isn't too bad. And then we will go ahead and pick up Return, just in case we actually end up needing it. But for right now, I think we're fine. However, with Erica, I wish that I could give you some kind of exciting recap, but it's actually a one-shot for at least her first two Pokemon, and then we just get paralyzed. After that, Erica ends up healing, and we use Swift to do minor damage. Acid does connect and lowers our defense, but we can take it down next turn to win the battle. And that also lets us move on to the next part of the game, and one that I actually fear will be somewhat difficult. Giovanni. Giovanni starts off with Onyx, and we open up a Flame Wheel, taking it to almost half as Rock Throw hits for solid damage. We swap over to Dig as it misses, and then we can take it down with that attack. Rhyhorn is up next, and we continue with Dig, taking it to yellow, and it uses Tail Whip, then we can take it down with our next Dig. Finally, you have Kangaskhan, and given the fact that Tail Whip has connected, Fake Out does a lot of damage, and it makes us flinch. We use Flame Wheel, hoping for a burn to survive Mega Punch if it comes to that, and we get Tail Whipped. We Smoke Screen the next turn for additional safety, and then Mega Punch sends us straight into the Shadow Realm. The next attempt goes basically the same, except Onyx doesn't Rock Throw and instead uses Bind, so we actually have plenty of HP to spare by the time we get to Kangaskhan. Then, when the Kangaskhan is out, rather than attacking, it just uses Tail Whip over and over again, so we just go ahead and take it out without too much of an issue. So now we'll go ahead, we'll catch our Fly Pokemon, and then after that we'll head back to the tower. Once the tower is cleared, we can go ahead and do our mid-game review of how Cyndaquil is doing. Pidgeotto is his first Pokemon he sends out, and we use Flame Wheel, taking it to red, and then Sand Attack naturally connects. Quick Attack does still connect, and that knocks it out. Wartortle's up next, so we swap to Swift since it can't miss, and it uses Withdrawal. Water Gun does some solid damage, and then we use Swift to take it out. After that, Growlithe comes out, and you can see me hesitate for a long time, and that's because my cat Bean demanded attention and made it impossible to choose a move. You know the rules. If a cat is in front of you demanding pets, you have to give them pets. After what probably feels like an eternity, we swap over to Swift and get hit with Ember before taking it down. Then, as Execute comes out, we swap over to Flame Wheel, but get put to sleep and taken down. I'm gonna blame the cat. The very next attempt, we take down the Pidgeotto without too much of an issue, and then the Wartortle is easy to take down as well. Growlithe, this time, we just use Dig and we can take it down. Then with Execute, we use Flame Wheel and take it down in one shot. Then, with Kadabra, we swap back to Swift, one-shot it, and that's enough for us to win the battle and move on to the half point of the game. So, for the Midway review of Cyndaquil, it's definitely a first form starter. The biggest issue with this particular Pokemon is how frail that it actually is. Most of the battles we end up doing takes us multiple attempts. As we go into the back half of the game, I can see Blaine being an issue given the Intimidate. And with Earthquake, Giovanni will probably be an issue. I think if we were allowed to evolve, this would go pretty well, especially if we're able to give the Hisuian form a shot. Though admittedly, I do not care for the design. But eventually, I would like to try out every single Pokemon in a solo run in some way, shape, or form. For now, though, we'll go ahead and get through Koga's gym and then see if we can beat that. Worst case scenario, Silphco is opened up, so we can also try there if we need to. And given the fact that the harder rival fights are coming up, probably going to need those levels. Koga first starts with Coughing, and we open with Flamethrower, taking it down in one shot. Muck is up next, so we continue with Flamethrower, taking it to not quite half as it just uses Minimize. Swift does a small chunk, and then we swap back to Flamethrower to finish it off so it doesn't go into healing range. His next Coughing comes out, and thankfully is a one-shot as the Toxic begins to ramp up. Wheezing is his last Pokemon, and we use Flamethrower to take it to a bit below yellow as Sludge hits, and the Toxic leaves us with 2 HP, and we take it down to narrowly win this battle. That was a really close call. Alright, let's go ahead, head over to Silphco, and we can try the rival fight. If that doesn't work, we can fight the trainers, try again, and then, since we beat Koga, if worst case scenario comes up, we could also try to go to Cinnabar and face off against Blaine. Truthfully, I don't think if it will be able to beat Blaine either at this point. But hey, let's go ahead, we'll see how this attempt goes. Pidgeotto's up first, so we open with Flamethrower, taking it below half, and Wing Attack crits for some solid damage, but we do take it down. Blastoise is next, so we use Smokescreen, trying to wreck its accuracy, and Water Gun takes us to 24 HP, so we end up using Dig to test damage. And it doesn't do much. Even though Blastoise misses one turn, that doesn't stay happening for very long, and we go down. So, this is going to be a lot of talking here, and I'm going to be playing footage on the screen because we tried this battle multiple times. We go ahead, since it's just clearly not going anywhere, we're going to clear out the tower, grab some level ups and some vitamins, but guess what? Even when we try after that, we are still getting wrecked whenever we try this particular battle. So without much of a choice, we're going to go ahead and head to Cinnabar and attempt that battle. But hey, we're still getting wrecked now by Blaine. We're able to get through a majority of his team, but it's usually the Arcanine that's providing a hard stop for us. So as much as I hate to do it, we're going to have to get some levels and then we can try again. Since we're in Cinnabar, we'll go ahead and try that, and if at that current level we can't win, we'll go back to Saffron and basically flip-flop until we find ourselves winning something. Growlithe is his first Pokemon, and we use Flamethrower, taking it to yellow as Fire Blast does a bit of damage. And then we can take it down with our next Flamethrower. Ponyta's next, and Flamethrower takes it to yellow as it uses Bounce. Since we know we'll outspeed, the Bounce misses because we use Dig, and then we pop up to take it down. From there, Rapidash comes out and we use Flamethrower, taking it to not quite half. So we'll go ahead and use Dig, then take it to a Sliver. Fire Blast connects, and we know Blaine will heal, so we use Flamethrower, and then Swift. But by the time we take it out to get to the Arcanine, we have 35 HP. We Smoke Serena and get taken to 1 HP, but after a couple digs, we just get taken down. Back to Silphco, and spoiler alert, we're gonna need some levels for that battle too. Pidgeotta's up first, and we Flamethrower the bird, deep frying it and taking it down. Then Blastoise is out as it spams Protect. We Smoke Screen it a few times. We then swap over to Flamethrower, taking about a quarter of its health, and we do actually burn it. We take it down, but only have 27 HP left. Growlithe comes out, and we use Dig, then pop out to take it down. Execute comes out, we swap back to Flamethrower to one-shot it. Finally, you have Alakazam, and we use Dig, then he uses Future Sight, as we take it below half. And then we can take it down, because all it does is use Future Sight again. So with that down, we're finally able to move on in some way, shape, or form. Let's move on to Giovanni, and then after that, we'll head to Sabrina or Blaine, though I have a feeling, given our level, we probably won't have much of an issue against Sabrina, but I bet Blaine is still going to be a problem. Giovanni sends out Nidorino first, and Flamethrower takes it down in one shot. Then, the Rhyhorn is out, and a Flamethrower takes it down as well. As Kangaskhan comes out, we take it to yellow, and Mega Punch does a bit of damage before we take it down with a crit. That was absolutely overkill. Last but not least is Nidoqueen, and we use Flamethrower, taking it to not quite half as it uses Tail Whip, and then we can go ahead and take it down, winning the battle. On to Sabrina, so we'll try and speedrun these last few gyms, because I have a feeling this video is going to be a bit longer, judging by the script length, and now looking at how much time I've spent recording, probably going to have to try to cut some things here and there. Sabrina first sends out Kadabra, and we use Flamethrower, taking it down in one shot. Mr. Mime is next, and we continue with Flamethrower, getting a crit, and then we can also take down the Venomoth with one shot. Then, last but not least, is Alakazam, and Flamethrower takes it to a Sliver as it uses Calm Mind. Sabrina heals up, so we swap over to Swift, taking it to yellow, and then Sabrina heals again. From there, we take it to yellow, then knock it out to win the badge. Alright, back to Blaine. We'll see how we do, but I have a feeling it's still going to be a pretty close call, even with the extra levels that we've gained. And with Blaine, I'm going to be honest, it's mostly just trading attacks back and forth since neither of us do super effective damage to each other. Fire Blast from his other Pokemon do a good job of whittling us down. And this time, by the time we get to Arcanine, we have 47 HP, and we immediately open up with Smoke Screen. Fire Blast then takes us down to 4 HP, and we get to take it down, narrowly winning this battle after 4 more attempts. So let's go ahead and go to Giovanni's gym, and I'll be honest, given the fact that we have struggled so much, I do actually go ahead and take the time to fight through the trainers in his gym. Earthquake can do a lot of damage, so I just want to be able to try and tank those hits as best as I can. Giovanni's first starts off with the Rhyhorn, and we use Flamethrower, taking it down on one shot. Dugtrio is next, so we actually outspeed, taking it down as well. Nidoqueen is taking a yellow, and it does hit us with a hard-hitting Earthquake. Giovanni does heal up, and then we take it back to low. Giovanni once more heals up, and then we can take it down 2 turns later. Nidoking is his next Pokemon, and we take it to a Sliver as Earthquake takes us to 7 HP before we take it down. Then Rhyhorn is last, and we Flamethrower, managing to one-shot to, once again, barely win us the battle. One more rival battle, and then we'll go ahead and kind of theory craft a little bit for the Elite Four. I have some definite concerns, but we'll go ahead and just cover that after the battle. Hopefully it won't be too difficult for us. Pidgeotta's first, so we use Flamethrower, taking it to yellow's wing attack, does a bit of damage, and then we take it down. Rhyhorn is next, so we use Flamethrower, and we take it to a Sliver as it uses Takedown, then we can take it down. Next up is Blastoise, and we smokescreen it a few times and swap back to Flamethrower, but ultimately go down. I'm sure y'all didn't see that coming, because it's not like it's happened every time we go against the rival. It's fine. We're going to try this battle a few times, but ultimately we're not getting anywhere. But then I get an idea. Rather than level up immediately, let me go ahead, let me grab I have money, let me buy a few vitamins that can bulk us up a little bit, but more importantly, we'll go ahead and get leftovers. After that, we'll try again. Flamethrower takes Pidgeot to yellow and we get hit with Wing Attack before taking it down. Rhyhorn goes to yellow, hits with Takedown, and then goes down, but we're actually looking pretty healthy due to the leftovers. Now with Blastoise, what we do is go ahead and set up our full smoke screens, and then we do try to Flamethrower, but given the Rain Dance, it's honestly not doing anything. So we swap over to Dig. This way we can spend some time underground, getting some HP back, and we just basically continue to do this for a few turns, healing up and dealing some damage as it misses. We do take it down, and then Growlithe comes out. We Flamethrower it, taking it to yellow as it sets up agility before going down. Execute is next, and Flamethrower takes it down in one shot. Finally, it's out to Alakazam, and it sets up Calm Mind as we use Swift, not doing as much damage as I'd like. We swap to Flamethrower, taking it to red, and Alakazam disables Flamethrower before we use a physical attack to take it down. Alright, so as we head to the Elite Four, I think the biggest issue that we're going to run into, honestly, I think it's going to be all of them. Lorelei is going to be able to do super effective damage to us, and it'll be a slow process. Bruno will have 2 Onix that can Rock Tomb for super effective damage and slow us down enough for his other Pokemon to actually then outspeed us. Why do I know this? Because it's literally happened before. Agatha, well, I guess we're at least neutral to each other, so maybe that one won't be too bad. Then you have Lance, and, I mean, the man has dragons, so that'll be an issue. Now, just in case this gets asked, just in case we ever get to level 100, that is the only time that we allow ourselves to do double team strats. It doesn't happen often, but judging by the fact that our current level and the fact that we haven't even got to the Elite Four yet, yeah, I think it's going to be it. I think it's going to happen. With that being said, Lorelei is absolutely destroying us. We can sometimes take down the Dugong and the Cloyster, but then she either sends out Slowbro or Lapras, and that just finishes us off. I try this battle a lot, and I level up a lot more than I usually do with these particular challenges, especially at the Elite Four, but unfortunately I have no choice. All the way at level 85, we start by smoke screening the Dugong, and it misses Surf. Then we use Return, that we replace Swift with, and then take it down with a very much needed critical hit. Cloyster then comes out and has been a one-shot for forever at this point, so it goes down without an issue. When Lapras comes out, we smoke screen it as it misses, then we swap to Return, taking it to not quite half, and then it misses again. We take it to red as Surf hits very hard, but the berry thankfully takes it out of healing range, so after that we can go ahead and take it down. Then you have Slowbro coming out, and we're just going to use smoke screen again as it uses Amnesia, then swap to Return, taking it to not quite half. We return again to take it to red as Surf takes us all the way to 10 HP, and then Lorelei heals up. We thankfully get a clutch crit before it can attack and then take it down. Then, with Jinx, we use Return to take it down in one shot and narrowly win the battle even at this high of a level. On to Bruno. Onix is first, and we take it to red with Flamethrower, and then Onix misses Rock Tomb. Then, Bruno heals up, and we take it back to red, then knock it out. Hitmonchan comes out, and we take it to yellow as Rock Tomb hits us. And since it lowers our speed, we actually then get outsped and hit with a Sky Uppercut before taking it down. Machamp comes out and Flamethrower takes it below half, as it only sets up a bulk up. And due to the setup, we can then take it down before it gets a chance to attack. Onix comes out and hits us with Earthquake as we take it to yellow, and then we can take it down after tanking a second Earthquake. Hitmonlee is last, and we get Brick Break down to 5 HP as we hit it with Flamethrower, taking it down. Oh, these narrow battles are taking years off my life. On to Agatha, and Gengar is first, so we use Flamethrower, taking it to a sliver as we get hit with Confuse Ray. Then we take it back to red and knock it out. Golbat then comes out, and Return takes it down due to a critical hit. Arbok comes out, we use Return, taking about a third of its health as Screech connects, and then we swap to Flamethrower, taking it out. Gengar is her next Pokemon and puts us to sleep. We do get an early wake up as it uses Sludge and actually burn the Gengar. We get put to sleep again, but woken up after falling into a nightmare and take it out. Then, finally, it's Haunter, and we use Flamethrower once more, taking it down. Alright, Lance, let's see if we can go ahead and do this. Lance starts with Gyarados, and Return does a bit of damage as Dragon Rage connects. We're doing what looks like more damage with Flamethrower, so we're going to stick to that. We can take it to red as Hyper Beam does some solid damage, but during the recharge we can take it down. And then with Aerodactyl we get hit with Ancient Power and immediately go down. I'd like to tell you the very next attempt we pull off some kind of crazy victory, but I can't. Honestly, it's the exact opposite. More often than not, we can't even make it past the Aerodactyl, and on the off chance that we land some kind of errant crit that lets us take it down, we then immediately get walled by the Dragonite. Now, I mentioned the double team in level 100 before because I thought it would happen, and it does, and it's been forever since we've actually been forced into this corner. So we learned double team. Smokescreen just isn't doing a well enough job because we have to hit each Pokemon with it, while double team lasts the entire battle. And 17 attempts into double teaming, we get this attempt. With Gyarados, we set up double team that we can before we even think of going on the offensive. I'm gonna apologize as well for the video footage in this battle and the next. I did some speed up to try and make it a bit more bearable, especially while we're doing the setup. I'm gonna try to cut it out, but if I can't, I wanted to at least bring it up. After the setup, we swap to Flamethrower and we can take it to yellow, but Lance heals. A few turns later, Lance actually withdraws into Aerodactyl, and we hit it with Flamethrower for decent enough damage. We swap over to Return, wanting to keep it out of healing range, and then Hyper Beam misses, so we can take it down with Flamethrower. Dragonite comes out, and we're doing damage as it sets up Safeguard. Return takes it to yellow, and then Outrage connects, and the berry takes Dragonite to above half. We use Flamethrower, taking it to red, but it's locked into Outrage, so we can actually knock it out and not worry about the heal. Gyarados comes back out, and we use Flamethrower, taking it to red, and then it goes down. Dragonair comes out, Return takes it down with a critical hit. He only has one more Pokemon, and Return takes it to half as it misses Thunder Wave, and then we take it down to finally win us this battle. We have one more fight to go, and I hope this one's easier. Now with Pidgeot, we're going to go ahead and immediately set up our double teams, and Pidgeot eventually just gets tired of that and starts using Aerial Ace to get past it. But after that, we're done setting up, we can just take it down with Flamethrower. Rhydon comes out, we take it down with a critical hit that I don't know if we needed. Blastoise is out next, and Flamethrower does some decent damage as it misses Hydro Pump. We swap to Return, taking it to red as it misses, and the berry takes it out of healing range, so we take it down. Alakazam comes out, and we use Return, taking it down with a crit that I don't know if we needed. Then it's out to Executor, and Flamethrower takes it down. Last but not least is Arcanine, and Return does about a third as it misses. Then we take it to yellow, but then the rival naturally heals up. We work on whittling it back down, and do get hit with an extreme speed, but we take it down to finally win the battle. And the run. Whew. I hope that you all enjoyed this because it was a really rough run. And I'm surprised I was actually able to get a harder run out of the way while not having a whole lot of extra time. If you want to help vote on the next challenges as we get into them, make sure to join the Discord if you haven't yet. I had plans that I mentioned earlier, but for now, while script writing, it's 12:30 in the morning. And I have work in about 9.5 hours, so I'm going to go ahead and get to bed, record this tomorrow, aka now, where it is 10:15 at night, and then hopefully get this edited in some pretty good timing. This was a run that I had a lot of fun with. I'm always forgetting to start doing a tier list of fun that I did for one video. This would definitely be a C tier kind of Pokemon, if I had to guess. This was incredibly frustrating in a lot of parts, and having to pull out all the stops with both leftovers and on top of that double team, I don't have to do that often. For now though, as always, if you like the video, even if you didn't like the video, hit the like and subscribe button because it really does help me out. And until next time everybody, peace out!